Hello YouTube, right, I've got 23 minutes to get going, right, got 23 minutes so I can waffle all I like, right, regarding Bates Motel, yeah, right, it kicks off, right, like a fucking, right, it's no joking, it just goes whoosh, right, straight off, right, no messing around this thing, this baby, right, right, first thing you notice is it's in a different location, right, it may have the namesake of the motel, Bates Motel, alright, episode 1, series 1, right, but it's not in the same place or something. I forget now where the specifics about that, but the motel is not in the same place where it was in the film Psycho, yeah, and you get onto that straight away when you're first watching it. Now, I've only watched the first episode, right, I've not continued with it, and I'm just reviewing episode 1 now. No, I'm not, so I'm doing these, because I want to do these as accurately as possible to the blind buyer of the product, the Blu-ray Bates Motel, as I'm watching it, my interpretation. So I'm going to give no bias, that's my intention. I don't want to give any bias, right, other than what I see before my eyes and hear before my ears, yeah. You know when you make drawing a picture without the personal interpretation, the shading here, shading there, right? I'm just doing like a line drawing, if you will, a line drawing description of Bates Motel, how I see it. Right? I see the product, I see basically Bates Motel being made for people of my age, right? And intentionally for its product, its home market product. That's how I see the overall series of Bates Motel, the franchise, the TV series Bates Motel. I see it as a home media market, rather than whether or not they were asked about the ratings on TV. I can see this doing well, in other words, I can see this doing well regardless of its TV viewership, yeah? And just on its sales, I think it'll go pending on its sales for its home media, yeah, for its Blu-ray and DVD. I think it's aimed mainly for people of my age, right, who are aware of Psycho from their childhood and have intrigue for this TV series. As I say, people of my age, if it does well on the home media market, I think they'll keep making a TV series regardless of how many people watch it, yeah. To its contemporary feel, I touched on there, it's not actually based in the same town, village, and I can't specifically remember how I got onto that, but you do get onto that. Whether or not the people who made this didn't get the rights, you know, the publishing rights to use the same destination, I don't know. Like the recent Oz film couldn't get the rights to get the character Dorothy in the movie, etc., etc. I think this may have had the same problem in regards to that, but it's certainly not set in the same place. But it's quite contradictory, really, because they actually can use the name Bates Motel, and they can use the name Norman Bates, the lead character's Norman Bates. So it's weird that I don't quite know about that. On the other hand, I'm not going to spend hours and hours researching it online, because I'm just not going to do it, you know, to find this out. The answers to that. I'm not going to do it, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, because I know as soon as I watch this, I'm going to sell it, because I go on to it. It's too young for me. It's very young. It is certainly contemporary. It's set in modern day. Well, I enjoyed it, though. At the same time, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I did. I just did. Maybe it's because I'm not used to watching telly, and it was refreshing for me. I don't know. But I did enjoy it, having said. The motel, you know, the actual motels you see, and there's a house, isn't it? There's a house on a hill and there's motels, right? I think the motels were actually built for the production in an outside, right? I think the designers of the thing, right? There's a certain name in films. What's it called? A production designer, or the creative team behind this and behind movies. They go out and they find destinations, dirty landscapes where to film. People behind this who did it for this, I think they must have done that for the motels, because you can tell the motels are actually built on an outside lot. You can tell it's outside, yeah, when they're filming. You can tell when like a building's been set on an interior stage, set stage. Regardless of how it's lit, you can still tell, can't you? Just like vice versa. The motels are built outside, and that was nice. That was wonderful. I enjoyed that. The outside set for the motels. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I did. Whereas on the other hand, the house on the hill, what you touched on, you can tell, right? It's on an inside stage. It's on a sound stage, it's called, isn't it? You can tell it's an interior construct, right? You can just tell, and you can tell they really go out of the way to try and light it, for the daytime and the nighttime scenes, to light it appropriately. But you can tell, man, it's on an interior stage, and that did spoil it for me a little bit. Just did. Just did. Whether or not, because you do see the motels and the house in the same shot sometimes, but that must be CG or something, because there are shots where they're walking up and down the steps, especially when they first move in, and as they're approaching the building, and you can tell it's in an interior stage. The nighttime scenes give it away. But whether or not that could be CG, and the steps were just built on an inside stage, on a sound stage, and it's all built outside, because you see the motel and the house outside, because the motel for sure is outside. You can just tell that. You can just tell. It's probably a combination of both, but yeah, okay. It has a very contemporary feel. Like in some of the reviews you will read for it, and I advise you to stay away from YouTube, alright, because they are full of spoilers, the reviews for this series, full of spoilers. It's very contemporary. They will all say how contemporary it's set in modern day, which it is. But I thought at the same time it still had a very nostalgic twist to the even though they're using iPhones and earpieces and stuff like that, the town where it's set, yeah, still was very dusty, and it was very grounded. Yeah, it wasn't very modern. It wasn't very minimal. Yeah, it was still very grounded. Yeah, so I enjoyed that, even though it had a contemporary feel. I enjoyed that. There are some village town shots. Even in the first episode, it's all there in the first episode. They get right into it. You can tell the real places they've found in the desert, and they've just built this place like they do for movies and stuff. You can tell they've done it for this as well. It's nice that it wasn't just all built on inside stages. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. It just gives it a more grounded feel when the real sets. Yeah. The price of these things, you know what I mean? You're going to want some real outdoor shots, because they're pricey as hell, these Blu-rays. They're so pricey. It's like with the full high-def TVs, they're still at the same price as they were 10-15 years ago. And whoever's behind high-def, they must be making a hell of a profit, so I know. Let me just check my time. Hang on. Right, I'm halfway now, so... it is an 18, and that is for a reason. It's here in England, it's 18. UK, Ireland, I don't know. Ireland have a different rating towards here in England, but here in England, it's 18. It is all region, I believe. It said in the product listing when I bought this, it is all region. No, it doesn't say it on the back. No, there's nothing in here. There's no booklets or nothing on the discs. No, it hasn't got the coding on the discs. I believe it's all region. Look into that. Don't quote me because I can't prove it here. But I believe it is. The discs, the Blu-ray is all region. It is an 18. Like I said, I wrote down here, full-on gore fest. Hello YouTube. Battery went. Power went. Get back to it. The power went. Excuse me. Right. It is a 18 and it's full-on gore fest. Right. That's where I was when I left off. About halfway through the episode, yeah, there's a full-on scene. Right. As I just mentioned, where I think the producers of this have pushed the 18 to its maximum. Yeah. There's a horrific scene halfway through the first episode, and I'll stop you there if you're a bit funny like that in regards to what you watch on telly. I don't know what time this was shown on TV. It must have been late at night. There's a full-on mad scene. I don't even like to use the word, because it may actually spoil it for you. But there's a full-on scene which uses everything within a few minutes. Every kind of violence and gore you could possibly imagine, right? And you will see no more or no less in a movie. In a movie of any nature. Their boundaries have. There are no difference now in boundaries between TV and movies. From seeing the first episode of this, that's it. That's my opinion regarding boundaries. There are not at all. There are just none. After seeing the first episode, it's just horrifically shocking halfway through, and it comes out the blue, and you don't expect it, and it just happens like that. It happens between a character and another character, which one of the two characters you don't expect it to happen with. And it's not what you think either. It's just horrible. I won't say what it is for two reasons, right? For spoiler reasons and for simply just the shocking, horrific nature of the word, right? I will not say it. So it's like it's just not going there. I'm not going there. Just a warning there regarding the first episode. As I say, I've not secretly continued with this because I've wanted to be as unbiased as possible. I've only seen the first episode. Haven't seen anything of any other. I haven't even seen the trailer for the first series, so I've got no idea at all about what's coming. So totally unbiased here. Simply going by what I've seen the first episode. So warning there regarding the 18 rating there, it is certainly an 18 rating. Moving on, the dude who plays Norman Bates, yeah, he's an English actor, you can tell. You can tell. A real posh English actor. He's done Hollywood movies before, even I recognise his face, and I've only been into movies for the last year or so. Full-on English actor, full-on, and I think mainly it's helped him get the role, I think, because when you look at the film Psycho, the dude who plays Norman Bates, is it Anthony Hopkins? Yeah, he was very, it was like, in his accent, he wasn't like, he was, decored, wasn't he? So I think that helped, even though it's very different to look at, he's very different, the way his manner, you can tell he's desperately trying to physically behave like Norman Bates in the movie Psycho, but the way he talks, the way his mouth moves, and his face, and even his physicality is, in general, the genre of his nervousness is different. But I simply think because he's tall and slim, and he's English, I think they're the things which got him the role. But at the same time, he's very different to Norman Bates, the dude Anthony Hopkins. He's very different at the same time. But it could have been worse. Right, the casting could have been worse for the dude who played Norman Bates. Could have been worse. Freddie Highmore could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. The woman who plays Norma Bates now, Puck Bonds, I think you have a soft spot for this actress, maybe. Yeah, she's very attractive, physically very attractive. I think she handles the role well, even though the episode, the first episode goes right for the jugular. It's quick to get right in there, maybe a little bit too quick. The first 5-10 minutes are maybe a little bit too quick. But yeah, she pulls it off. If you're watching it, recommend to watch this of an evening. Don't watch it with your head on your shoulders, right? Take your head off. Not literally. Detach your brain is what I'm saying when you're going into this. Alright, leave your brain at the door, right? Don't read into it too much because you'll get too cynical. You get over cynical with it. It'd be easy to pull this apart. Alright, don't know. It works. It's alright. The chemistry between the two leads is fine. You can tell there's not going to be a lot of superfluous characters throughout this. You can just tell by what the impression the first episode's given me. I can tell. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing so it concentrates on the story. I don't know. All that will remain to be seen. And I'll check on what I say, so I can catch up with myself. I'll re-update my points. Okay, so I'll get back to you on that. The police officer. There's 2 police officers in this first episode. One of the police officers will stand out because he looks like Anthony Hopkins, the actor. How that's come about, I don't know. But you'll notice that he's a spitting image of Anthony Hopkins, the age he was in Psycho, right? Yeah. And it'll actually take you out. Actually, it'll distract you. But get back into it. Forget about it. Try and forget it. It'd be dead hard to because he's a spitting image of Anthony Hopkins. Get yourself back into it, right? And there's a cliffhanger at the end, which leads you into, obviously, which will lead you into the second episode. I don't know if all of them will, but there's a cliffhanger, and it's obvious, it's blatant. It's obvious. I'm not saying blatant as in the nature of it, I'm just saying it's, there's a black scene, the screen goes black, and then it opens to specifically the cliffhanger scene. It's only a minute or 2, but that's how the first episode operates. That's the construct of the episode 1 of Beta Motel. I've got a feeling it might carry on right throughout. I've got a feeling it'll be simplistic, minimal in regards to characters and story and plot, but quite grounded and quite nice and earthy and very dirty. Here's the episode 2.